does he hate her more than he loves me?
I mean, have you met Stella? Welcome, degenerates and people pretending that they're not, to another edition of me talking about Helluva Boss. It's only been a few months and it's Halloween season, so it's only fitting that this most recent episode would rip out my heart and give us something sweet. Last episode may have been mostly backstory, but this is where things finally get interesting. As Stolas' divorce puts his relationship with Octavia at risk, Blitz is struggling with Loona, and the future stepsisters finally meet. It was touching, it was funny, could have cut the M&Ms out entirely, but this was another great episode, so let's talk about all of it. Now, I might as well nip this shit in the bud. This isn't a filler episode, but a lot of people are gonna say it feels like one. Helluva Boss is an episodic show, with the only real overarching plot being Blitz dealing with his trauma and Stolas' family imploding. With that said, not every episode needs to be stuffed with events that dive into the character's soul or reveal a greater conspiracy. Way too many shows these days are built like they're 10-hour movies, and I'm kinda sick of it. So having episodes that only deal with individual characters and their personal lives is a-okay with me. However, this episode does do the thing that I hate the most about filler, and that's putting the rest of the story on pause, as it kinda feels like it's sweeping all the Stolas drama under the rug. Season 1 ended with Blitz feeling raw and emotionally lower than we had ever seen him before, with Blitz feeling betrayed and after Stolas threw him under the bus, and Stolas feels terrible. He was a wreck, and sung a whole song that I may have been too harsh on about it. Everything that the last two episodes has done was tell us that there has been a fundamental break in their relationship that has left both of them reeling. It feels like something that they need to address, and would leave things a little bit awkward between them, and you don't get that vibe at all. Stolas and Blitz are completely fine. They're doing their regular banter and horny shtick, which just feels a little bit weird from an audience perspective, as everything in the show tells us that these two episodes are gonna have lasting consequences. And it feels like the only thing that carried over was Stolas' divorce. It doesn't hurt the episode for me, but it feels really weird knowing the context that these two had this massive fight, that Blitz went to bed crying, Stolas drank until he blacked out, and it is just not touched upon at all. They're just more concerned about finding Octavia and being horny. I can get that they have this bigger concern, but there's not even a nod to the fact that they had this massive fight, and that kind of bugs me. They're gonna address it eventually, but the elephant is in the room, and the show is pretending that it's not. But now that we brought it up, I can talk about the rest of the episode. It's good. Like, for real, I don't have any major issues with this one. The only real negatives that I have is that the Moxxie and Millie subplot could be cut from this episode and you'd lose nothing. Except the shock value of realizing that this is the first time Millie has actually sung with her husband. Yes, really.
It's for her that I fell, oh Millie.
Until now, sound effects were the best we got, which is kind of weird. And this does call back to the second episode, where the M&Ms were very much side characters in the Stolas and Octavia episode. It's on brand, but it was extremely obvious this time around. But everything else about it, good. I love.
She's not fit to be a mother! I saw her doing lines of coke in her dressing room!
I have been dying to see Octavia get brought back into the story. She's just such a good, angsty, oh so British teen. She's adorable, and she's moody, and she is the one who is suffering because of Stolas. We love to ship it. We love watching Stolas call his wife out. But Octavia is the one who is really suffering from this divorce. Her parents are breaking up after years of pretending that they are together, and that sucks to go through. Divorce is never easy, and it is extremely hard on the kids, even when the family wasn't happy. And making this even worse is that it is such a busy process that Stolas is accidentally ignoring Octavia. And this was something that I have been waiting for. Ever since they announced the divorce in the last one, I'm like, okay, great, perfect, glad he was able to get his moment, but how is Octavia gonna react to this? As she is the character that gives Stolas and this whole show a little bit a reality check. To show Stolas' cheating has consequences, prove that yes, to show that this divorce, no matter how liberating it is for him personally, still affects those around him. I don't think I made a secret that I like the more emotional and sincere moments of Helluva Boss way more than its comedy. It's a funny show, and the violence is always a plus. But to me, these softer moments are where it really shines. to prove to me that this isn't just something coasting off of Has-Been Hotel. Now the actual episode begins with us getting a Cthulhu reference to the tears of the god that forms meteorites, back to baby Octavia, who's excited to see them one day, with her teen self losing none of that enthusiasm. There's no emo music, no slow walk into her parents fighting. She's actually happy here, only for us to realize, oh fuck, Stolas doesn't remember today is the day. As yes, he still has to deal with his ex-wife. You feel for Octavia here, you really do, but also Stolas and Stella screaming at each other, it's still great.
No, I'm not turning her against you. Yes, Stella.
Your mother's being a real bitch.
Well, how was I supposed to know you can spell? I've never seen you read.
Stolas has really stuck to his guns since the last episode and is done dealing with Stella. She was terrible to him, but he always held his tongue. He didn't start fights for Octavia's sake. But now, he just wants to get this shit out of his house and Stella out of his life, which is a fun shift in Stolas' character. He's pissed, and I kinda get the vibe that he enjoys yelling at his wife after years of being repressed. He's telling the staff to handle her shit as roughly as they can, while on the phone with her. Stolas gives no fucks, and it's great. However, this is all happening at the expense of Octavia, who's just being pushed to the side as her parents scream at each other. And just to show us how much Octavia has slipped through the cracks of her parents' lives, Stella is only concerned about her when she thinks Stolas is turning her daughter against her. And Stolas is too wrapped up in the move to actually listen to his daughter when she tries to talk to him. He just brushes her off. So you fully understand why she gets pissed and steals the book to go to the human world. This wasn't just her getting mad that her dad forgot. This was her trying to tell him about it, only for Stolas to tell her, not now. It's miscommunication, but it arises from a situation that I actually kind of like and feels real, instead of just feeling like it happens because the plot needs it to happen. But in the spirit of daddy-daughter conflicts, Blitz is also having issues with his daughter. It's less interesting, but it doesn't come out of nowhere.
Just think some small tweaks might help you be more of a people person, you know?
I am a people person.
As y'all know, Loona is kind of terrible at customer service, and doesn't take criticism well. Now personally, I kinda wish we had a better grasp on Loona and Blitz's relationship. We know she secretly appreciates him, and can be very abrasive the rest of the time, but for as much as we've seen them together, I never feel like I'm completely sure what their default is. As her chucking office supplies at him could just be their usual Wednesday. They clearly go through cycles of love, embarrassment, and hostility, but I've yet to arrive at a point where I'm like, okay, this is their dynamic. This is how they usually are. Instead, it just kind of bounces around. I'm not entirely sure what's the baseline. And not helping this is the fact that Loona spends most of the time at the office, leaving her and Blitz's issues to be less clear. And while this isn't too much of a problem, I do like the idea of these two struggling to figure out what their relationship should be. But it does make it a little bit harder to figure like, okay, what's going on with them versus how clear-cut Stolas and Octavia's issues are. But one character thing that I really love is seeing just the shift in Blitz when he's trying to talk with Loona versus when he's talking to anyone else. With the M&Ms or Stolas, he dominates the conversation. He does not care what he's saying or how they take it. But with Loona, all that confidence goes out the window. He wants to be a good dad so badly. He's walking on eggshells with her, trying to be as agreeable and putting everything as nicely as possible. He doesn't want to come off as hostile or demanding like his dad did, or like where she came from. So he's trying his best to be nice, and she is just raging out. All because Loona takes any suggestion or questioning of her behavior as a personal attack. She can't take criticism. This goes back all the way to the pilot, where Millie just asking why Loona would drink on a workday escalates into Loona storming out and kicking a baby. Loona is at a 10 being hyperbolic, saying why doesn't Blitz just replace her? And the idiot latches onto the idea of tough love and suggests he might. Which, again, this is that I'm not sure where their relationship really lands to where this would feel like, oh no, versus them bantering. Blitz desperately wants her to love him, but we've also seen him yell at her and put his foot down when he's being a needy bitch. So it's kind of hard to tell, like, okay, how seriously should I take this? Like, she sulks off, she does not like hearing that, but doesn't really have the intended effect either. With Blitz not even like really ruminating on like, oh shit, I said the wrong thing. It just kind of like, we just kind of move past it. But then we have to go into Moxxie being a smug prick, now that all of his complaints about Loona are being validated, which I feel like is an issue I have with a lot of this episode. Great moments, but as a whole, I feel like we're rushing into and out of scenes and ideas a bit too quickly. It's a little bit slapped together in that sense. I want to know everything about their mess of a relationship, but it does leave me feel like some of these moments should have stuck more. But we do get one of Blitz's best lines.
Well, he seems to like you, sir. Maybe he would understand
Okay,
it.
my dick is good, but it is not that good, Moxxie.
Yeah, because Octavia wanted to see the stars, the book took her to LA instead, with Imp and Stolas having to team up to find her. And again, it's a little weird that Blitz and Stolas just don't bring up the massive beating their ship has been taking. The banter is still fun, and Human Stolas is a certified twink, but it's a bit weird. And once I get to LA, this is where the episode really does start to be a little bit sloppy. Like, they're in LA, the M&Ms are basically gone. Octavia is doing a bunch of tourist shit, and Blitz is being mistaken for a parody version of his voice actor. And it all doesn't feel as neat as I would like. Stolas has this harsh turn where he's like, oh my god, I'm so worried about Octavia.
Don't worry, I'm on it.
Everything before that was a gag. That scene of worry leads immediately to another gag. It doesn't feel as coherent as I would like, or the jokes that cap off these scenes aren't as funny as I think they need to be. Blitz playing Brendan Ragers, though, I thought was gonna be a one-off bit, but then it keeps going. I think that's fine. I'm just not in love with it. But once they start doing the sitcom, though, I think it was all worth it. Now, this episode doesn't have too many shipping moments between Stolas and Blitz. Sad for me personally, I know, but we don't really need it. But our owl boy giving Blitz a pep talk was top tier.
Blitz, if your performance on stage is half as good as it is in bed, you'll leave them breathless.
But then it had probably one of the saddest moments in the series, where Blitz has to give a performance. He has to pretend to be an actor on a sitcom, and he thinks, for the briefest of moments, he's finally found the audience that likes him. When he was a kid, his acts bombed. When he was adult, it bombed till he gave up. And now, for him to finally make people laugh, only for it to all be a lie, it's sad. He thinks his dreams are coming true and people are just laughing on cue. Like, I'm glad Stolas is here actually laughing, because if he found out, he would be shattered. Then we get to the horror, as Blitz has a flashback to when he adopted Loona.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. If you haven't been paying attention, hellhounds like Loona have this weird thing where the other denizens of hell treat them both as people and like pets. You think this is kind of a joke. Millie calls Loona their only hellhound, haha, she's a dog. But then we see the orphanage Loona came from, and it's actually fucking horrifying. This is a human-sized pound filled with actual children stuffed into cages begging for someone to adopt them. Yikes. How do you function after being raised like this? Like, it makes all of Loona's issues make so much more sense. We see the moment where Blitz adopts Loona. We see him going through the other kids to trying to find the one that he thinks will best fit, that he thinks that he can fill in for this surrogate father role. And Loona is everything he wasn't looking for. He was looking for a family-friendly dog, a dog that he could make his family. But when he sees Loona, he sees himself, as he knows what it's like to be alone, unloved, lashing out at people when you're scared, and having the authority figures in your life saying you'll never amount to anything. He is all of that, and that's why he picked her. I love this. I want so much more of it that it hurts. But Blitz, when he finally comes to, loses his shit. He has this whole dog in the show that he is supposed to adopt and give away, but now that he's thinking about Loona, that's not gonna happen. Everything goes crazy. He starts killing people. Stolas kills a guy with a water bottle. I thought he was gonna be revealed to be a demon. I mean, like, look how it burned him. But then I rewatched it and remembered these posters. Turns out LA water is just acid and sewage. Not surprised. Also, sexy Blitz. But this also brings us to another highlight of this episode. Loona and Octavia finally meeting. These wayward daughters of daddy issues.
Why does he hate her more than he loves me?
Everybody's got issues, especially dads. And sometimes they fuck up.
This is the thing I've been wanting for a long time. Blitzo and Stolas have been hanging out throughout the show. They are both incredibly fucked up people. Loona and Octavia are kind of the exact same. They're both struggling with their dads and they're just so done with all of it. And I feel like that commonality, you get the sense that these two truly would understand each other if they met. And when they did, it was beautiful. Loona helped Octavia work through her issues to remind her that their dads are a mess, but they're trying. These two have always needed to meet, and I kinda wish that this whole episode was just a girls' trip for them. I definitely think these two need their own video, and I will probably make it, but this scene was everything that I wanted and left me wanting more. These two need to start therapy together, and they need to do so immediately, because we definitely know that Stolas and Blitz are not getting enough. But this is kind of just the heart of what I love about Helluva Boss more than anything. It's not the violence or the comedy that I come back to this show for. Helluva Boss doesn't have a bad episode, but even when the structure is messy or the comedy can be a bit repetitive, it knows how to quiet things down and make me care about the characters. To make me tear up when Octavia is reunited with her dad, for when they all just sit together and watch the fireworks. It makes me want only the best things for these people, and I think that is a real achievement. This is what I live for, and Stolas is just a perk. Yeah, overall, really like this episode. A bit messy, some of the things are a bit weird, but I think on its own, it's solid with two genuinely great moments, which is kind of what I've come to expect from this show. No lows, high highs, and characters I can never get enough of. Also, Octavia killed Brandon Rogers at the start. Also, Millie texts Blitz on what sex toys she should buy for Moxxie, and that just makes me so curious about what their relationship is like. Let me know what you all thought down below. Was it everything you wanted? Did you feel like they were ignoring Stolas and Blitz's drama a bit too much? Did you see Octavia and Loona as sisters, or are you just waiting for the fan art? Thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe to be kept up to date with whatever insane videos I'm gonna make about this one. I don't think I can top the Stella one, but I'm gonna try.